Welcome to Bugsworth Basin, right at the very end of the Peak Forest Canal. The reason I'm here is because this is the third and probably final part of the series that me and Phil have been putting together on the Peak Forest Tramway. This is the end of the Peak Forest Tramway, and it also happens to be the end of the Peak Forest Canal. It's where the two met. I've come back for a separate visit just to tie up this video. Now, a lot of my videos are based on spontaneity. I don't turn up to a location an expert. I certainly don't leave an expert, and part of the thing I enjoy is getting here and learning things and seeing things that I didn't know before. It's all part of the exploring, the adventure for me. Now that day, I hope it's not too windy, it's just a bit breezy, but that day me and Phil, we'd been on the go. We'd covered the whole Peak Forest Tramway all the way up from above Doveholes. We'd been on the go. I think we got here about 3 and we started at 8 o'clock. We met at 8 o'clock that morning and we'd been out filming then for 7 hours in the gale force winds, cold, rain. It really was a horrific weather that day. We got here and I think we'd both kind of had enough, and I think if we've both been honest, when we got to the canal, we both were a little bit unprepared for what we saw. I think we really underestimated the size of the job. I thought we were just going to fit it on quick 5 minutes on the end of the tramway video, but there's so much more here to explore and look at that I had to come back and do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the original footage, some of the original footage that gives it a little bit more spontaneity. As we were coming across things, we were kind of getting a lot of things wrong, so I'm going to infill with what I'm doing today, and then we'll fill it in with the stuff that me and Phil had a look around on the day. So let me get up to the far end, because we arrived on the tramway. We was following the journey that the lime and the quick lime, or the burnt lime, whatever it was fetching down on the tramway to the canal. We'll get up to where the tramway arrives at the basin. So here's where the tramway arrives at the basin, just down here. So this is where we arrived. Cold, wet, kind of ready for home really. I think we'd pretty much figured things out, hadn't we, with the rows of the sleepers that are going off down there. And then the brilliant thing about around here is these little information points in the ground. From wheels to water, the fully loaded tramway wagons rolled in from the quarries on a network of tracks. Workers with horses moved into wagons where they were something behind a leaf. Most limestone went straight into boats or into the kilns.
So that's a loading point into there, look, that show.
Transhipment.
Yeah.
Now there's lots of different wharfs and things. We've got a little map to look through.
So this is the upper basin.
Upper basin?
Yeah.
Right. Ground panel location. Right, little green arrows. Right, okay. Have you ever arrived somewhere? Have you ever gone somewhere that you've never been before and you're just overwhelmed with information, different things? It's
yeah, this is info overload, isn't it? Everywhere you look, there's something going off. I mean, every few metres I can see something that I could do an explanation for.
Yeah.
Shelves, basins, tram roads, retaining walls, some sort of, what's that over there? Is that a chimney?
I think it's on a boat, is it? No?
Is it?
We'll go down and have a look.
Navigation in. You know, you always get a canal in or a navigation in, won't you, these places as well?
Let's have a scout around here. We'll follow the sleepers down here. Because if you look at the old maps, you will see the network of the tramway that it's split out. I can't remember the exact figures, but there was a ridiculous number of yards worth of tramway in total. So is this a platform as well then here, look?
It says there were limekilns along this side.
Okay.
At one time.
I mean, the A6 is just literally to the left here, so it is wholly possible that could have wiped out some parts of the basin, because this was, some 30 years ago, this was completely abandoned, I understand. That little arch.
That is weird, isn't it?
So we didn't realise it at the time, but we was actually standing overlooking the upper basin. The far-reaching part of the Peak Forest Canal, and what went here, and we have got the hindsight of some old photographs now, is the transhipment warehouse. So there's a good photo from looking from the other way. There was an arch, of which this is a remain. I think we thought it was some kind of bridge remain at the time, and then we had the tramway, look, and we can still see remnants of sleepers in there, and then there's another little arm as well, just at the side of it there.
There's a lower set of sleepers, look.
Oh yeah.
So this is another one, look, and that's almost like a loading point.
We'll go around this way.
You can get out of here, by the way, some stairs there, look.
Okay. There's another one of those things on the floor with information around it, according to the maps. Green arrow, ground panel location.
That isn't on the boat, that chimney thing I saw, or whatever that is.
Is it a chimney or is it a crane or something? It's a base or a stanchion for something, isn't it? Here we go. You're standing on one of the many wharfs where workers moved every stone. You know what? We're going to be sick of seeing these sleepers by the end of today.
They're boring.
What's this? I don't know. I still find them fascinating.
Well, at least you know where the track went. At least you haven't got to use his imagination, have we?
It's brilliant that they've all pretty much survived in their entirety. Fancy a tipple. Workers used wagon tipplers to tip limestone from wagons onto the wharfs. And I think the next thing that we came across was the remains of the crane. There's like a pole still sticking out of the ground that's really, really visible all the way from over there. We weren't sure what it were, but we got there in the end. But there are some great photographs online of that crane in use. It is an old crane. We were just wondering what that is. Ooh, what's slippy?
What you step?
Them sleepers are slippy. This is the cantilever jib crane, look. Right, so that's the upper basin. Probably just a good point to point out that traffic drone you can hear in the background, that's the A6, just to the right of us here. And there's that banking now that kind of encloses the basin area. There was a lot more land. Looks like there was more sidings. There's pictures full of wagons standing just to the right where the A6 banking is now. You might be wondering, I'm just reading off a piece of paper where me and Phil were kind of looking a bit perplexed the other week. A kind gentleman came up to us. It's not great on a day like today with the wind. A kind gentleman came up to us and gave us both one of these excellent information leaflets. So I'm using that as a guide today. Right, I think these are the remains of the limekilns. We can see them on the map as Gnat Hole Limekilns, spelled GNAT. Huge buttress on there, look. I've not fetched the torch. I wonder what's in there. I wonder if that's part of the limekilns. I bet it is, isn't it? I mean, it isn't just one basin. This is a collection of basins. We've got limekilns just on top here. This that we're looking at now, I believe, is the middle basin. Looking back to where we were in the upper basin, and on the right hand side here, the middle basin arm. Or Mr. Satterfield's branch. Is that as far as the branch goes? Is that really called a branch?
So I'm trying to work out where we are in relation to this. Surely we're not sat here looking at that hole. So there would have been more kilns there then?
Yeah, well that's where that other elevated tramway went, isn't it?
So then, if they're the kilns, that one's find its way up here, yeah?
Yeah.
Into there. Yeah, one shed stood just ahead of you, straddling the middle basin arm, so this was probably enclosed then, maybe, by a building, was it?
Right, well, yeah, there's the remains of the buildings just on the...
Yeah, you can see it there, can't you? So that would have been enclosed, yeah. And you can see remains.
Oh, yeah, the roof just poking up. So we're stood on top of that bridge at the moment. Here we are, Mr. Satterfield's branch. I'll try not to encroach on the privacy of these people in this boat down here, but I just want to come and have a look at these ruins and these bricks. Because don't forget, we've just been looking at that photo. This was all. This was covered. it's like a maze of little tunnels and little cubby holes to look around every direction you turn in. And this will fetch us out into the middle basin, will it? Look at those rails in there now. I don't think they're going to be from the tramway, are they? Because they're set in concrete and they're not the L-type plates that this tramway was constructed. So the ruins we were looking at just down there, when I said, look, there's rails in that concrete, is this the remains of the crusher building? It's a shame you can't get in there. It's a shame it's all fenced off, isn't it? Quite obvious why. You can see those rails from up here, look. I'm guessing they just used the rails in there just as a strengthening. It's merely form a composite. It's really, really impressive to think all this was abandoned up until not that long ago. And look, we keep seeing the lines of sleepers, and it just gives an indication again where the tramways were. Tramway. There's some pointing off down here. Oh wow, is this a model? Oh, brilliant.
Now this is more like it, so we were wondering where the lines were.
This is what we needed.
Yeah. Then we walked down here, didn't we?
Yeah.
Then we came down here to that crane arm. Then we looked at that, and then we saw the two dead ends. And we've come up the stairs here, we've come over the bridge. There's still two tracks just here, look. So we've gone over that basin, yeah, them kilns were there, look, that aren't there anymore. And there's the high level line coming that we spoke about earlier. And then that there is here, look. And there's the two limekilns, and they're still there, look, across the way. So yeah, there are quite a lot of buildings along this here. Look at these two.
Look at it, keep going, yeah.
I mean, it's quite good to look at this. I can now look at that, and everything's just clicked into place straight away.
You realise we are looking at it upside down now.
Yeah, but still.
The writing. It's good, that, isn't it? That's brilliant, that.
Yeah, that's good, look, because if you notice, there's that one there, and there's a secondary structure, and you can still see the walls of that one there. If you look over there, what do they call that? The middle basin home. Oh, there's your wagon tipplers, look. So they're along this shelf there, look.
So this is the lower basin. Tell you what, you can't knock them for the amount of information on view and available. You know, I mean, we're cramming this in at the end of a kind of long day of filming, aren't we, really?
Yeah, but look at this. Look how much work they've done.
So that's in a disused state. So, right, in 1968 then permission was given to restore the basin. So it's been a long-term project, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Look, was that the tracks still in?
Yeah, so I was thinking, so it just needs, the gully needs digging out. So yeah, that's where the wheels would have gone along. I'm not sure why there's a section there, but if you look back and forward, there's not. Don't really understand that.
Yeah, it's like a little section being left, hasn't it? And look, the sleepers that you can see, this line going off down here and then splitting into two.
Yeah, because this line went down to a low level and came back along this shelf.
Oh, Todd Brook reservoir valves. Okay. So that was a reservoir that was made national news when they're splitting the dam wall a couple of years ago, wasn't it, Todd Brook? Let's follow the tramway. You can see track going off down there, a track going off down there, and this bit in the middle, it's dammed off, isn't it now? That was the lower basin arm.
So look, there's a line gone in to transhipment point again, isn't it? They all are. So hold on, you're saying that riders rode on a truck like that, but in the brakes down?
Well, that's what the...
Where's the foot? What do they hang on to?
So yeah, this is a replica wagon, isn't it? So where did they hang on to? Did they hang on to that? Is that...
Well, if that was flat, I would have, you know, could I do that and be pinning brakes down, sat like this?
All that way, wow. When I think of the DSC assessments I have to do at work to make sure I'm sitting right. All right, there's that photo again here, look, Phil, and you will be pretty much spot on.
Really?
What you were just demonstrating there.
Okay.
Are those what the when they say about using the pin to slow it down? Is that that?
Where would they put it though?
Possibly.
I wouldn't like to put anything in any moving part of this, to be quite honest with you.
So was this part under a shed then, or was this?
I don't know, a lot of the others were, weren't they? So I'm not sure about if this one was or not.
Is this another crane
Looks like it to me.
I think I commented at the time, didn't I? That I said that I don't think these bridges in their entirety are original bridges. And these horse transfer bridges, so bridges here you can see are replicas of the originals that were demolished during the 1930s. And I don't know why we was confused about this, because this is pretty obvious. I think we got there in the end as we was kind of walking around and figuring things out. But that photo is there. Wow, this weather's horrific. Might go and take shelter a minute. Yeah, so there was a shed over this. Another information board. Wow, they do so well here. It's so well documented up here. There's really no excuse for idiots coming along and fumbling around.
So hold on a minute, what's that? Are we looking at that?
Is that here?
I don't know. Is that one in water, the second arch, or is that water? So this is, yeah.
This is down here, yeah. Look, that's this arm here.
So that's looking. We're here looking that way, aren't we?
Yeah. So it was a building.
Yeah.
But look, it's wider than that. So it's wide enough to incorporate. Is it that side? So let's go down and see if we could figure out. There's some foundations just at the end of the wharf. Look. That just confirms what I was just saying. These are replacement bridges. Yeah, so this is where the shed was, the transshipment shed, look. The permanent way. By the late 19th century, the limestone industry was declining. The railway company continued to use the canal to transport materials. You're looking at the site of the secure goods warehouse. Yeah, just on the right-hand side here. Just look at some... All right, this, look, Phil, is... I think this is the chair and the pins from what looks like one of those point plates. I don't know if that's the right term, you know, where the tracks join together.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Assuming I've seen pictures of them. So we'd be stood inside the shed now then, would we?
I wish we was. It's freezing.
So it's cobbles in between the sleepers here, isn't it? Things, little bits of detail like this clinging. Look at that. And then there's some foundations for something here, I'm guessing related to the shed, or maybe it's a ramp, isn't it, or something, possibly. What a fascinating place. This is absolutely teeming with history, isn't it, this?
Yeah, but this is pretty strange. If this was a structure, how come the tram sleepers are smack bang into it?
If it was a ramp or the plate, maybe the tracks, the plate was right alongside of it, and it was
maybe they went
loading
in and out.
Yeah. And it's a double bridge, obviously, because we've got the arm into the lower basin, and then where we've just come from in the upper basin. Oh look, looks like there's a boat arriving. Good timing. There is the lower basin. I don't think we really gave that much attention when we came here. couple of things down here just to show you. That's looking back into the basin. There's the bridge we've just walked over. Turn you around here, we've got this. This is the gauging stop place. There's a little sign here, papers please. And that refers to the basin manager called a wharf finger. And there's the canal house just behind here, just next to these narrows. I said it at the time, didn't I? There's the amount of information boards on display here. It's phenomenal. Where are we on this map? There's the Chesterfield. We are just there, a little bit. Peak Forest Canal. So this is the lower basin. It seems to have the noisiest geese. If we just look over the left hand side here, look, this is the Black Brook. Now we've followed this all the way down from Whaley Bridge. It certainly seems like a popular spot to moor up this lower basin. Just fetch you down just to the water side here, just to look at this. Now this wall here, this is called, on my information pack here, the New Drop. And it's elevated above the basin because what ran along top was something called the tippler. Now we had these in the upper basin as well. And we had the tippler staging and tracks. It's not faring well in the rain, this information sheet, unfortunately. It says there was 4 tipplers at Bugsworth Basin, one either side of the arm alongside the upper basin, one on the short wharf adjacent to Silk Hill, presuming that's the one behind us, and one on the longer lower basin arm. That's what we've just walked on this elevated section here. And I keep getting drawn back to this it's not a model, is it, but this display, because I think once we'd had a walk round and we'd come back and had another look at this, I think everything came into focus. Look, so it's where we started. Look, the upper basin, the shed that we talked about that's missing. There's the crane, you see the little crane there, and then we walked into the limekilns. You see those there, those limekilns. And then we walked into that middle basin arm, didn't we? Then underneath, we came out somewhere here, and we walked along the wide, over the bridge, to the canal house and the narrows, and then we walked back along this elevated section here. Look, and there's one of the tipplers. Excellent. So it was nice to come back and just try and piece that all together, give it a little bit more context, just to add to that kind of spontaneity that we had on the day. I'd like to say in better weather conditions, but it's not far off being as appalling. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this series, those 3 videos. It's been an absolute fascinating journey through history making those. Really didn't appreciate before I did it the amount of history that there is on the Peak Forest Tramway. So as always, thanks to all the channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee, sent me a super thanks. We'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.